Hello everyone, I am Jishan Seth, Assistant Professor in IT/ICT Department of LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. In this video, I will explain AngularJS directives. So let's start today's topic. So before moving to AngularJS directive, you must aware about Angular. What is AngularJS? What is the basic structure of AngularJS? So now, why we are using directives? So in the previous video, when you see the basic demo program, how it works, in that we are using some basic directives that are helpful to implement that. But at that time, we are not explaining in detail. So let's understand what is AngularJS directives. So AngularJS is basically extend our HTML attributes, and directive is the base of that. So with the help of different directives, we are extending our HTML attributes. For example, we are creating forms. So if we want to extend form element into our AngularJS, so how we can do that? With the help of our directives. So for example, if we are using paragraph tag, in paragraph tag, if we want to extend some functionality of AngularJS, then how can it possible? With the help of directives. So AngularJS is extending HTML with new attributes, and that is called our directives. So AngularJS has a set of built-in directives. So that are number of built-in directives are available that enable to enhance your application's functionality. And you can also create your own directive also. So let's understand the basic directives which will be used in your application of your AngularJS. So first is all about ngApp. So what the meaning of ngApp? So before going to ngApp, if we are writing what is the syntax of directives? So directive and ng, two things are here. Ng is common for all. It is a pronunciation of Angular. So ng stands for Angular, and then we are using hyphen, that is your dash. Then we are using the name of your directives. Okay, so every AngularJS directives is pronounced like a ng dash and then particular component name. For example, ng-app, ng-model, ng-bind. So this is the simplification of your name of your directives. So now let's start one by one all the components. So first is ngApp. So when we are creating our application, sample application or any application, at that time we have to define the scope from where to where in my HTML page I want to implement my AngularJS part. So that is the root of your particular application, from where to where we are implementing our AngularJS code. So if we are creating any app and that the scope in the specific division, then ngApp will be defined in that div. If in whole HTML page, if I want to implement AngularJS functionality in here section, in body section, then ngApp will be defined in your HTML tag. So ngApp, and you can also give the name to ngApp also. Now next is ng-model. So ng-model is very helpful when you are controlling your HTML elements to particular AngularJS. So HTML controls, form controls, and if you want to bind with your AngularJS, at that time ng-model is useful. Next is ng-value. So ng-value is used to specify the value of your elements. Suppose you are binding some input text, and if you want to give some value, at that time you can use ng-value. Next is ng-bind. So ng-binding is very useful when you are connected your HTML elements and your particular form tag or any other tags that are controlling. So this directive binds the AngularJS application data to HTML tag. So that is the glue type of work, that is the binding of your tag to data. Now next is relevant tag. This is frequently used. Other directives are ng checked. When you are checked any element or not, at that time it is used. Next is ng click. If you are clicking some event at that time, if you want to specify at that time, we are using ng click. Next is ng hide. Hide and show both are working here. If you want to hide or display something, at that time ng hide and ng show is used. Ng repeat. So it is used where you want to display some repeated values. If you want to define some template of that particular section of collection, at that time ng repeat is used. Next is ng disable. When I'm clicking, some elements are disable, enable, at that time ng disable and enable is used. And last one is ng init. So ng init is very useful if you want to initialize some value before the execution of your code. Suppose we are running our code. Before that, if we want to initialize some value of the parameter, at that time ng init will be useful. So let's demonstrate some basic programs related to our directives. So suppose we are using here in div tag ng app. We can also define in double quotation the name of the application. Next, we are using here ng init. Okay, ng init is equal to first name is equal to John here. So here we are using two directives app and init. Now, how can we use that? In paragraph tag, we are writing name, input type is equal to text, and ng model is equal to first name. So what we are writing here, we are creating one simple text field here. In that text field, we are putting our ng model. Now, in another paragraph tag, I am writing urot and then first name. And my division tag is ending. So between starting and ending of my division tag is telling that my ng application scope is only between division tag. Outside of that division tag, this application is not working. Init is telling that before the execution, first name having the value John, and ng model is binding the particular username with this variable name. Whenever in the scope of that div we are using the first name, the value of this input text will be reflected. So let's see the demonstration or what is the output of this program. So when we are running this program, then we can see here you already learned the basic how can we write. First is doc type, then we have in the head we are passing the script tag. In that we have to specify the angular.js file using cdn, or you can use the code of angular.min.js offline. In the body tag we are writing the same code what I am explaining. When we are running this code, you can see here in the name already by default John is there and you wrote John. So ultimately here what happened, we are initializing the value of the text field. Okay, so the variable name of particular init is first name and the value is John. So how can we give that? When we want to assign any value, ng init and then equal to, in double equal to we are passing the variable name, then equal to, in the single quotation we are passing the value. Again I am repeating, if we want to initialize any value we have to write ng init. In the double quotation you are writing the variable name is equal to value, but value is written in the single quote. So how this is the same way you are assigning any value to JavaScript variable. The same methodology is used, and in this program we are using the ng model. That model is taking the first name variable. So when before running the program, executing the code, this first name is assigning to the John is assigned to the ng model first name variable, and when our particular page is executed, that first name is taken the value of the first name variable. Okay, so our output will be John. In the later part we can change the value also. Okay, this is the demonstration of your first program. Now we are moving to the second part. Okay, now let's understand the second variable. In ng init we can use more than one variable also. This is the demonstration of that. So here you can see here ng app name is blank, and in ng init I am taking two variable, quantity and price. In input type number, and ng model is equal to quantity. and input type is equal to number, model is equal to price. So here we are taking two input types here as a number, and ng model name is quantity and price, and the last total rupees in dollar is equal to quantity into price. So let's understand how it is working. So when we are implementing this code and we are running, I am running this code, what happened here? Quantity is equal to 1 by default, cost is 5. What we are given in our init portion. Okay. So if we are changing this value, then output will be updated. You can see here I am updating my quantity. Yes, you can see my value is changed automatically. Suppose I am updating my cost. Okay, so value is changing right now. So without refreshing the page, it is working. So this is the beauty of our AngularJS. So in this particular ng-init demonstration, you will learn you can assign more than one variable and value during the initialization. Separation is done by semicolon. Okay. Now we are moving to the next item. So now in init I am taking the variable names, and that are taking the more than one value, that is the type of array. So in here you can see name is equal to, and the square bracket we are assigning the value AA, BP and CC here. Okay. In unordered list, if I want to print all the values what we are writing during the initialization to AA, BP and CC, so for that we are using which directive? Ng repeat. Okay. So in li, what we have to use ng repeat is equal to x in names. So you are aware about this in loop in JavaScript. So here we have to specify our variable, then in keyword, and then variable or array name from where we are taking the values. Okay. So x in names, and finally we are printing x, and li is ending, and our unordered list and div is ending. So again I am repeating how it is used. In ng-init we are declaring the names variable that it contains more than one value. For taking those value in one frame, we are using the ng repeat directives. For that, ng repeat is equal to x, that is my variable name. In that we are taking the values for printing. In keyword, and names is the variable from where we are taking the value. Now let's demonstrate this code. So let's see the output of this program. Okay, so you can see this in li list our all three data items are printed. So here in li we are printing x variable. X variable is coming from the names, and names having more than one value in this particular parameter, that is a type of array. So this is the demonstration of our init with three different ways how to implement a simple variable with one name, then more than one name variable, and more than one value with single variable. Now I am explaining another one demo with different directives. So let's understand this particular program. So in this particular program I am declaring HTML app. In HTML we are declaring ngF, script is declaring. Now I am writing name in my input type, ng model is your name, and that will be bind with my paragraph tag. Okay, so in paragraph tag hello we are taking one span, and ng bind is used. So ng bind is used when you want to bind your ng model variable to the particular element. Okay, so ng model is used generally in your form controlling. Okay, but if I want to use this variable in my HTML element, so here my p element is there. In that p element I want to add my your name. Okay, for that I am using p hello. In that I am using the span. In span we can use ng bind and the variable name. So let's run and see the output. Okay, so here when I am writing something here hello students, so according to that my paragraph tag value will be changed. Okay, so at which time you are using this? If you want to make your paragraph tag dynamic, Suppose already I am writing hello, that is my static thing, but what I am writing that will be added in the dynamically at the runtime. At that time you are using this type of functionality. So here the functionality of ngbind is used. Now let's understand another directives, that is my ng disable, ng show, ng click. So three different another directives are explained by me. So first I am taking one checkbox here. In that we are taking one ng model directive. Okay, and I am writing that disable button. So here one checkbox is there and the name with name having disable button. Now in that we are taking one button. In that button we are putting ng disable directive. Okay, so what happened? Let's understand. Okay, so when we are right now, you can click on this button, you can see. Okay, but when I'm clicking this particular checkbox, what happened here? This button is disappear. So if you want to disable any element, any property of your element, then you can use ng disable directives. So in button we are using ng disable property, that's why it is disabled. Now we are moving to the next directive, that is ng show hide. So I'm taking one checkbox and we are taking ng model with the name show hide. Now in this button we are using ng show and the property name is show hide, where it will be binding. Let's understand how it is working. So see here, you can't see any button right now. Okay, already in the code you can see in this second tr we are adding two, one input text with checkbox, and second td you are seeing that we are adding one button. But till now when we are running at the first time you can't see here any button, but when I'm clicking you can see this is the button. Okay, when I am uncheck this, the button is hide. Okay, you can see. So this is the demonstration of ng show directives. Now next is all about ng click. So here in one paragraph we are taking total click is click counter. So here click counter variable is taken. So here what exactly perform in this program? So in ng click we are taking one click counter variable, and every time when we are clicking the button, the counter is incremented by 1. So that's why I'm writing here click counter is equal to click counter plus 1. So this is the addition of the particular variable. So initially it is available when we are clicking every time, that will be incremented, and this particular first p we are showing the particular variable value. Okay, so let's run this code. Okay, so your total click is not able right now. Okay, now when I'm clicking the counter you can see it is 1. Now I'm clicking again, then 2, then 3, then 4. So this is the ng click directives. Suppose I am refreshing, then it is initializing from blank. So suppose in init if we can if we are initialize that value, so that initialization value we can also display here, but here we are not initialized. So every time when we are clicking the button, the value will be incremented. So this is the all about our directives. So in this video I will explain all the basic directive with practical demonstration. In next video we will come with more topics of AngularJS. Till now, thank you very much for watching this video.